Hello, I'm Michael Baker. I'm from Michael Baker Digital. I'm a solopreneur. I'm a solo shop now, especially in the AI age. I have a team of, I call them robot aliens. I work with various chatbots and different pieces of software that have basically taken over the role of web development, local SEO, and pretty much all things related to it. And anything that AI can't do, I do personally based on my existing skill set, which was web design, creating WordPress websites, and getting people found in local search. The shift started a couple years ago, and everyone would probably notice that AI started returning results, and it's starting to give Google a lot less prominence in your search, a lot less prominence. When people go there, they get the answer, and then they move on. Very rarely now are people getting their sites hit because AI is giving the answer right in line. So the website, although still very important, especially when you get someone to your website through that search, through being the answer to that AI search result, the websites in a lot of cases have taken a hit in traffic, and people have noticed this across the board. Search just doesn't work the same way, and AI is always there and it's always present. So the legacy internet model. So a lot of websites right now were built probably 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, and built on a model of you type in something in Google, a page on your website returns as a result, and people come to your website and they perform whatever it is that they had to perform. This is changing a lot, and websites that are architected for that old model, again, like I already said, are kind of plummeting in search results. You know, the answer was coming to this page, getting the answer from this, but now people are getting annoyed more and more with getting shot back 20 pages that they have to go sift through, when if you spent any time using AI or like ChatGPT or something like that, you just get the answer to things now. So that whole old model, it really is going away quickly because it's just convenient and easy to get the answer from the alien robots, as I like to call them. So that's the new model in 2026. The old model, build the website, manipulate the algorithm, use all kinds of tactics to get Google to find you, and then hope that people come find you through that mechanism. This is my website in 2016, 2017. I'm getting a lot of 6, 7 stuff at my house. Do you guys have kids? I've said 6, 7 twice in this thing. I just got to throw that out there. This is the new old internet. The new old internet is everything that was built 2017 all the way kind of through probably 2022, 2023. It'll be built on a CMS, a content management system, like WordPress, Squarespace, or Wix. And it's all going to start to look like that. And you'll see new websites as I proceed, and how they're functioning, how they're animating, how they're moving, how things are just different. And the most important part of it is how they're interfacing with a new animal, which is AI as a search engine and not AI just as something that you goof around with. It's becoming more and more prominent and more important. So that's what I looked like a few years back, and this is what it looks like now. And this is in an environment where I'm interfacing with a bot and I'm telling it to do things, and based on me telling it to do things, it's doing them. Okay, and it's a technical thing, but you can see as I scroll the screen, that video grows. Like, so animations are there, gradients, the highly stylized look and feel of things. There is no compromise as far as design goes. And you don't have to actually physically code anything anymore. You just kind of, as long as you know what you're saying, you can get things done. If you don't know what you're saying, you're probably going to get a bizarre result. Okay, and this is how search is happening now. Can you help me? I'm looking for an individual to help me navigate WordPress and local SEO and AI in the Orange and Milford, Connecticut area. I don't want to use an agency or Fiverr. And I fortunately came back as a result for that top in ChatGPT. I'll get into that more as to why. Okay, so how do we get to this place? Old websites were just a bunch of pages, and it was all coded in something called HTML, a little CSS, made things look pretty. But there was really no interaction. There was nothing else. It was information on a page, and that was about it. And then CMS platforms came along, like WordPress, and I always say WordPress, Squarespace, Wix, because everyone knows one of those things for typical business site purposes. They came along and allowed people to do things that were never before possible. You had a database now, and you had pages that didn't have to be touched individually. You could make one change and have it affect globally the entire website. There was a lot of danger to that, because if you messed up your database or if you got hacked, your whole site's just tanked, and it was a big problem. And at this point, also through that time, search was pretty easily manipulated, meaning you could do something called keyword stuffing, which kind of looks like this. This is a very simple demo. Keyword stuffing and manipulation of just adding a bunch of content to your website in order to make the algorithm believe that you were the expert at that thing. And it was pretty easy to manipulate that. And over time, Google now red flags this thing called keyword stuffing and other what's they're called black hat SEO tactics. And so SEO, search engine optimization, black hat meaning you're doing something a little shady to get yourself to the top of the rankings. But a lot of people did that, and you'll still see it to this day across the board. We serve every town in Connecticut is another one of those things that a company might do, and just repeating the same thing over and over again, or lengthy blogs they're not really there for information or for entertainment. They're really just there to try to get the algorithm to believe that you're an expert in that field, even though you may be, but there's other ways to go about it to prove that. This has become a big problem. And I talk about this a lot to my clients and to people that ask the zero-click AI search. And that's a problem because what it used to be is you have a website with 1,000 pages, let's just say, and every one of those 1,000 pages is a result out there in some search engine, and you knew that those were all gateways into your business. But what AI is doing now is it's giving you have to be the top choice because people are just taking that answer and it's a zero-click answer. They're giving you the answer, so people just aren't going to websites anymore. They're just getting the information, whatever that information is. And so they're abandoned. The whole system is being abandoned like almost overnight. It's the shift has happened starting about 2 years ago. And I'd say in the last year, it's gained a lot more momentum. AI, what it does is your website's a signal, just like Google's a signal, but just like Bing is a signal and YouTube is a signal and rent.com is a signal or whatever your business is, super lawyer or whatever you are, to be at all those different spots. AI is going to search all those different places and return one result. So Google's just a signal. It's a piece of a pie now. It's not everything. Whereas just a year and a half ago, it was pretty much everything, with Bing being a distant second to that. AI, if you look at the bubble of search of who's most dominant, Google's here, but ChatGPT is now here. It's growing, and it's growing exponentially. As more and more people get satisfied with the results that they're getting, they're turning to it to search for everything. And ChatGPT just launched, just yesterday actually, advertising on their platform, which is going to change everything again. That's the best part about all this stuff, is that the second you learn about it now, it changes again, and then you have to adopt a new thing. So it's a continuous kind of learning curve, but it's increasing in power and precision exponentially. It's seemingly almost overnight. It's really wild to watch. So again, if I typed in, is there someone local Orange, Connecticut to help me with Replit? Replit being the service that I use for AI. And so right there, that's the AI overview. It's given you the top answer, and chances are when you get that answer for something, you're going to just go to that place. And then when you go to that place, you'll find that the website at that point, very important for sales and for validity and for everything else that a website should do. So your home on the internet should be your business as the expert in that field. So going back to 2023, and I started to adopt AI and use it more and more. I thought that AI was going to help me code stuff. I thought it was going to help me actually solve problems within my digital marketing, that it was going to code plugins and code functionality, and then I was going to take that functionality and take that code and plop it into my website and have that work. And it did a little bit, and it was quite amazing at the time, which is now I'm talking like it's the past. It was just 2 years ago. And so it seemed like it was going to be the way. The problem with WordPress and a lot of these other different applications is simply that there's too many pieces to the puzzle, and AI can't wrap its head around all the different problems that are presented when you're using an open source CMS or a locked CMS like Squarespace or Wix. Open source is problematic because it allows developers of all different skills and different locations and different price points that are free or not, or they just abandon it, to all develop for the same thing. AI has no way to control all that. So it's very fragmented, and it's almost impossible for AI to control that. Another place that popped up in the meantime was a service called Webflow. And it does make very nice websites, but it's still, at the end of the day, forced you to push pixels and move things around and define fonts and typography and really have your hands on a design. And it's still the process of making a site through Webflow or WordPress or any of them is frustrating, and it's lengthy, and it's never as easy as it seems, especially from the commercials that they show about how you can just go build a website. So this is a YouTube video. I'm just going to shoot to the end of me 2 years ago, and you could just see kind of code and what it's doing with me. And I'm in real time, I'm developing a plugin that, very unpopular plugin, by the way. It's an alcohol weight gain calculator. So it shows you how much weight you might gain if you have 4 beers a week all the time, and it shows you how much weight you might gain if you have a bottle of wine a week, all that good stuff. Not a lot of people really like this application that I'm building here, but I decided to build it anyway. And so this is what it looked like. So I'm in WordPress, I'm in the back end, I'm making short codes, and I'm building this code out, and I'm blown away at this point because I'm watching a robot code for me, and I couldn't believe it. But you fast forward 2 years, and I didn't code anything, and I told it what I wanted, and then it made it. It made what I did in like 3 days in the old ChatGPT, like this very simple, basic interface. It made this. I put Debbie Downer in there just so you guys can see that. I know that this is terrible information, but it made this. Not only that, it made it interactive. It put share buttons in. It allowed me to conform it to any kind of color scheme that I wanted. There was no clamps on it, and I could just do what I wanted, but the whole thing happened via a conversation. It didn't happen from coding one thing, and then it just plopped it right into the existing application that already existed. So that just happened in like 2 years' time. It went from having to be 3 years ago, had to code the whole thing with a developer. And I did that. I literally had a developer help me code it. 1 year later, I did it with ChatGPT. 2 years later, I'm just telling something to do it for me, and it's just doing it for me. And I find that to be amazing. So probably recently, if you haven't yet, you'll hear the term vibe coding. And vibe coding simply just means you're telling an AI, just like ChatGPT, that what you want, and that thing will build it for you. I use a service called Replit. It's built with Claude code and a bunch of magic, and I don't know what's exactly going on behind the scenes, but I'm having conversations and things are being shot out. But the conversations aren't just like, I want this. It's like I'm talking to it like I'd talk to a developer. So I'm going at it with a different knowledge base than just simply shooting out ideas and hoping that it gets it right. I'm giving it very, very specific rules, typography, colors, brand guidelines, you name it. Just like you would with an entire design team or agency, I'm working with this in that capacity. The accuracy has increased in the last 6 months to me pretty much swearing at the thing and yelling at it like, why don't you understand what I'm saying, to now I just say it and it's just doing it, and it's doing it faster and better and faster and better. And they don't even tell you when new versions are coming out. The versions just get rolled out. So that's vibe coding in a nutshell. It's like you're making something, you're building something based on it's kind of a corny term, based on a vibe, but you're just not coding anything. This is an example of a site that I put together in a day. None of the images are real. None of the information is real. It's based on something that I fed to it, and it's for me to offer up service businesses these AI websites. So I'm showing you that I can put your information into this architecture, high-end home remodeling for this particular one. I did it with landscapers, insurance agents, and you name it. Whatever service business it is, I'm going to develop the template for AI to be able to just take your stuff and put it into this perfect package. You don't have to goof around with and be left for dead like most small business websites are. Maintenance, simplified, not eliminated. You still have to do stuff. You still have to do some maintenance. You still have to pay attention to security updates and stuff like that. But the maintenance is different. Let's just say for this, I'm telling this thing right now very simply, and I'm typing to it like it's ridiculous. Change the Metro Star background and featured image. And so I'm talking about that over there. I'm going to go find the image. Now, if you were in WordPress doing this, you would have to log in. You'd have to get to this place. I don't really know how a grid system would work in WordPress, but there's a whole thing that would have to happen in order for that image on that square to change right there. In addition to that, the background image perfectly scaled and sized on the project page itself. And you'll see that this update, I did it actually this morning. It will take maybe 45 seconds. And just like that, it's up. And then I click on the page, it's set as the background. It's perfectly scaled and sized, and I didn't have to do anything that I would normally do to make that happen. The infinite scroll that I told it to build, so as you scroll down from project to project, it just does that, and I didn't have to code that, which is another thing that I would have to code by hand in the past or use a plugin. And this again is showing advanced animations, so that I'm telling this thing as I scroll the page to take this video and put it in the viewpoint and have it shrink or grow as the video leaves or enters the screen. This is my kind of closing statement, and this is like the way that I believe things are going to be going forward. If you want to come up for local search specifically, to be the answer. Things have changed in that, like I said, there's signals for things. Google's a signal. YouTube, the number 2 search engine, it's neck and neck with ChatGPT, but it's still a powerful force, very underutilized. YouTube is a search engine. All the different outlets that your site can be, all the different links that it can be, directories, news articles, probably a thing on News 8 wouldn't hurt to just have some outbound links to places that have authority. And the more of those that you have, the more signals you have, the more AI will know that you're the answer. The truth is, just be really awesome at what you do. Make sure that you focus on reviews, because reviews are like the lifeline, and your social media presence is a lifeline now. So if people are sharing your content and people are leaving you good reviews, it's really hard to fake that. If you have 70 5-star reviews, it's really, really difficult unless you're paying a service maliciously, and you'll get taken down for that. You can't really fake that. So TripAdvisor and all those different types of places, make sure that you are the answer. Make sure that all the signals that you can possibly put in place lead back to your website, and your website is built to take a quality lead. This is a conversation this morning. Again, nice walkable apartments in Milford, Connecticut, showing Metro Star at the top. That's how I had them placed there. And I'll scoot through to the next and final. This is actually what wins now, is the SEO is no longer about ranking pages. The AI is going to select an answer, and people are going to choose that answer over anything else. And very rarely are they going to go to the local pack or to all the web pages that follow on Google. They're going to take the answer from AI and they're going to run with it. AI has integrated shopping. They're integrating Shopify stores, and probably will replace Shopify in the next year entirely. So that's it. Be the answer. Develop a website using AI, a service like Replit or Lovable, Claude Code, and keep up with it, because it's not going away. And if you think that holding on to the existing systems is a way to go, it really isn't. Try to adopt the new stuff as soon as you can, because it's moving so fast. And I've been doing this for 25 years, and I've never seen it go through this period like this. It was stuck in limbo for probably 15 years. And in the last 2 years, it's accelerated at a point that it's almost getting hard to explain. So that's it. Again, I hope you might have learned something here today. I appreciate the time. I'm Michael Baker. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.